Hey people, this is Jorge Barba from the Big Band Podcast. Today I am joined by Apurva Muthe from, he is the CEO of Tinkerbot. He is a long time programmer. He is currently studying in the University of in Utah, I believe. And he's here to chat with me about his project Tinkerbot and also in general terms, the whole chatbot trend going on. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, hi, good.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your background? Um,
So basically, I'm from India, and uh, I love programming. I started coding applications since I was 8. The first language I started to code in was Python, and the very first project that I created, it was like a game on Microsoft Store, and it had some 15,000 downloads. It was on Microsoft Store for around a month, and later on, I created some programs like I created a social network which had 10,000 users, but then I stopped it because I was interested in other things. Later, I created an app for Kumbh Mela 2015. Like it was an official app declared by government of Maharashtra. So it helped number of pilgrims from all around the world. Later on, I had a startup named WebDice, which was part of Digital India Initiative, and it helped. Basically, it helped all the local shopkeepers to get their presence online for cheaper rates. Later, I got patent for designing world's most portable computer, and now
okay.
currently I created Tinkerbot. So yeah, now I'm founder and CEO of Tinkerbot, and I'm fully working on Tinkerbot at this moment.
All right. So tell me about Tinkerbot.
So Tinkerbot is an semi-decisional artificial intelligence-based chatbot. So basically, Tinkerbot is geared towards redefining education system in India. At this moment, we are planning to add various courses in Tinkerbot, like you can learn by chatting with Tinkerbot. The main thing we are trying to create here is to create an interaction with user so that user can learn by chatting with artificial intelligence. So Tinkerbot is basically a edtech chatbot.
I used the bot for a little bit. Um, what is it about the chatbot format that you found interesting enough to do something with education?
So education, like as I know that education system in India is not that well developed, and there are still traditional education systems used in India. So as I was researching over in Weber State University on artificial intelligence in my first semester. While doing that, I just found that chatbots were quite interesting, and I decided that it would be quite interesting that if students or any learner would be capable of learning by chatting with someone over internet. So that was how Tinkerbot was born.
Okay, so you were basically motivated to see if people were interested in chatting, because we as humans really learn through communication. I was chatting with you before a few days ago, asking you some questions, and that's how it started, this
Yeah,
whole thing. So you you
yeah.
uh, you basically thought, hey, so what if we do it a chat bot where it's not a human, but it could create the experience of a human-based conversation for people to learn, ask it questions. Now you do have in the bot itself, these menus, so you can learn. Uh, you know, Indian history is one of them. That's the one
Yeah,
I went through because it's the least the most foreign to me. Um,
yeah.
so explain to me, um, what is the long-term vision for the project? What do you wish to accomplish?
So as of now, as we are startup, the main thing we are targeting is Indian schools and all other educational institutions. But basically, at this moment, we are targeting anyone who wants to learn something new, because as of now, we have general knowledge as a basic category, different categories. So we are targeting anyone at this moment who wants to learn something new. But in the future, we will be targeting down various users and various institutions, so that the main vision we have here is like to redefine the education system completely in India. So we'll be providing Tinkerbot to various educational institutions, and they can be utilized by students over there and professors over there to learn new things. So that's the long-term vision that we have.
And you already have some success with it. uh,
Yeah, Yeah.
Because you
Like
launched
we have 28,000. Yeah, we have 28,000 users since 3 months of launch, and they're pretty active.
Everyday Active.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these are all people in India, or is it already across the world?
No, it's like all across the world.
Across the world. Okay, and what?
Yeah,
How?
and the main thing I found over interesting is that people all across the world just like to study, just like to learn about Indian history, and that's what
Yeah,
it spread across various countries. So I guess
yeah,
that's what is interesting.
yeah. I mean, I was like I said. I mean, that's the first thing that I went into because it's the most foreign thing to me. Like Indian history,
Yeah,
I was like, wow, okay, immediately.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so how do you visualize? Because you were talking about you're targeting institutions directly or schools directly, but
Yeah.
also, I mean, it's people too. But in the terms of institutions, how do you see them adopting this? I mean, how do you see this making its way to schools or through schools?
Okay,
How do
so
you see?
yeah. Yeah. So as a beginning, I'm just in talks with my own alma mater in India, and so they are planning to utilize it in such a way like they would be having 1 or 2 periods a week, and then they would be utilizing Tinkerbot over a projector, and then students can learn like the teacher will be having one Facebook account, like it would be a global account for the whole classroom, and then the whole class can utilize the Tinkerbot, and if they want to do some homework, every student will be given some specific key from the Facebook accounts so that they can learn on their own pace, like from their own school.
From the own school? Okay, so
Yeah,
so basically, the bot the bot would not be, let's say the curriculum from the school. They would put the curriculum in there. It
yeah,
wouldn't be based on what you decide,
yeah.
or is that the
So
case?
like it will be completely different for every school, so that content don't get mixed up, and it would be different for general public, like who wants to learn something different. It would be different for them, and the bot would be different for the schools and institutions. Like they would have their own curriculum.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and how did you um how did you arrive at oh no, let's put it that another way. Did you do some previous research before actually building the bot? Did you talk to people, figure out some your hypothesis, or did you just go at it and say, let's see what happens?
Well, I did some research, like market research, before building my bot, and currently we are in MVP stage. So we are just testing out new features every month, and I guess that it's how it works. But I had some testimonials from people like, is it really necessary in the market? And people around me found it quite interesting that it would be really fun to learn with Facebook, because the most important thing that parents are afraid about in India basically is that the students waste a lot of time on Facebook and other social networking sites. So it's quite helpful that students will be using social networking sites to learn different things. Yeah. So that's what I found in my market research.
So okay, just to be clear, this is not because if you already have 20,000 users across the world, then
Yeah.
it's not just isolated to the education in your country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people find it interesting no matter, even I mean, you're in the US based education system, so
Yeah.
it's very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's amazing just by in itself that you figured out a way that it's not just an isolated thing just to the Indian system. It's everybody's
Yeah. Yeah. Like
interest.
education is open to everyone, so anyone can utilize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there a specific age group that's adopting more than any other?
So after my understandings and research, what I found that the age group of 18 to 25 are more active on Tinkerbot. So I think that they are more motivated to learn something new. At least they are motivated to try something. So 18 to 25 is quite natural age group to try new things. Yeah.
Okay. And have you thought about ways of because I mean you already said that there's day-to-day engagement.
Yeah.
Um, have you thought about ways that engagement will stop? Um,
The like what I'm afraid of is that engagement will only stop if we don't provide new content. very soon. And if there are not new features, and if the user case of Tinkerbot gets difficult, like people don't understand how to use it, then there's a chance that engagement will stop.
Hmm.
So we have thought about that too, but at this moment we are doing pretty fine.
Okay. Now, is there, I have to ask you this because, I mean, obviously the chatbot thing is it's been, I mean, it's been going on for a while, but it really jumped, like, last year when Facebook opened up the
Yeah,
platform,
yeah.
that's when it blew up, right?
Yeah.
But did you consider doing, doing this, but like in a application based format? Uh,
So at this moment, we are using Facebook Messenger because the thing which is important to us at this moment is that we want to acquire more and more users. And as Facebook Messengers have 1.2 billion active users, so we are utilize Facebook Messenger platform at the beginning. But after we get funding like seed round, we are planning to introduce our own application like native platform applications, and then people can use the application in the same way, but it will be just a standalone application.
okay. And okay, so how many you're the only guy, or do you have another co-founders or
Yeah,
co-founder?
our co-founder, he's my friend from India.
Okay. And you guys are already looking for investing, for funding?
Like at this moment we are bootstrapping, but we are looking for some accelerators or incubators. At this moment we really don't need any funds because we are doing just fine.
Very good. And what has been the this is more of a question for people who are thinking about building chatbots. uh, it's already exploding. What have you learned works in a chatbot format?
So the main thing I learned over here is that chatbots are pretty easier. Like you don't need to download any third-party application. So it's easy that everyone has Facebook Messenger with them. So you just need to open Facebook Messenger, search for the bot you want to use, and then you can directly use it. So that's the main thing over here that I found profitable. And then one more thing that you just have to click on get started, and the rest of the process follows. Like if you're an active Facebook user or Facebook Messenger user, you would naturally know that how to use a chatbot because you just need to click some buttons, and there's really low probability that you need to type something on a content based bots. So it's pretty simply over here. But the main profitability that I found over here is that you don't need to install any other third party application to use the chatbots. That's what main thing.
Okay, so that is a point of importance for people, that you don't have to download an app to
Yeah.
use it. Yeah. So they actually say that, or is that just you intuit it?
Like they actually say that because I don't know about the US, but I'm from India, so I know it very well that there's kind of poor connectivity in India, and people don't have like high-end phones, so there's not much space in their mobiles, and they don't want to download new apps to try some new thing, which is just an entry in the market. So it will be quite easier for them to just try and hop into the app directly by using the app which are already on their mobiles. So it's quite helpful in India. Yeah, that's what I found out.
Okay. All right. That also I'm based in both the U.S. and Mexico, but
Yeah.
in Mexico that's a very similar situation. People, if you have them download something, it's like they think about it because of the data plans and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a funny thing, but it is real. All right. So
Yeah.
another question for you. What is the I mean, are you just launching right now and you just accumulating users, or are you already charging people for using the service?
No, like at this moment we are just acquiring some users. We have some future plans for revenue models, but we won't directly charge people. We will be charging educational institutions for advertisements based in chatbots. So it would be always be free for people and learners, like individual learners. It would always be free.
Okay. And how do you see? I don't know. Think about it. I mean, I know you said you're in MVP mode still, but just think
Yeah.
about it. Like, what do you see your Tinkerbot evolving to? In 5 years, if it make it, if it goes that
I
way.
think it would evolve into a global educational platform for students and learners, like every single person who want to learn something. That's a mission at this moment, that we want to create an educational global platform. It's not just about chatbot. Like in 5 years, it will not be about just chatbot. It will be completely a different scenario. Then, like uh, you can compare us to Khan Academy or anything in next 5 years, but we are planning to get bigger than that too.
Okay. Now, do you think, because I know these chatbots are AI, somewhat AI based, very specific topic.
Yeah.
Um, how do you evolve? Because I know right now it's menu based, the bot. How do you evolve it to where it's I mean, does it even matter to the user whether it's a menu based or text based where you're actually typing to it and it's responding to you, as opposed to putting menus on there? Does it matter to the user? Do you think in
Yeah,
terms?
it matters a lot, because if someone's new, and if someone's new to chatbot community, the person would not know what chatbot exactly is, and the person would not even know how to use it. So it would matter, like user would have some confusion, like what commands does he need to type to access the chatbot. So I think menu-based chatbots are quite efficient for new users as well as the users who already know how to use chatbot, because that creates a form of simplicity and efficiency.
Okay, so let's say within the next year, um, you will be experimenting whether or not different types of when to use text-based commands or
Yeah,
not commands, but people asking questions versus you presenting the information to them.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you believe that? I mean, I'm asking these questions because in my case, I get asked about this stuff myself, and um, the question whether or not something is smart or not, a bot is smart or not, always comes up, and my response is that whether or not it matters to the user is if the goals are reached by them. So whatever format takes you there is what really matters.
Yeah.
I mean, because just think about it. If you look at the landscape of technology companies right now, they're all trying to build their own uh, artificial intelligence brain, basically, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all doing it.
Yeah.
But they'll try. I always say they're all trying to build, Iron Man's Jarvis. Basically the guy or the girl that's answering all our questions and talking to us all the time, kind of like our best friend. Now, do you
Yeah.
see chatbots evolving that way? Uh,
I don't think that it would be a reality at least for next 2 years, but in future it can be reality. Like you are just at home and you're talking with like real life Jarvis and learning about different things. But it can be reality, but not at this moment, not at least for 2 to 3 years. But if it turns out to reality, then it would be pretty cool. Like everything will be changed. Schools, colleges, institutions, everything will be changed, because education is completely redefined because of such forms of chatbots and uh, artificial intelligence assistants.
okay, why do you think that in 3 years this might be a reality?
Because the chatbot scenario which is currently going on is developing every single day. Like last year Facebook launched chatbot for Messenger, and there were almost 30,000 chatbots within 6 months, and now there are almost 1 lakh 100,000 active chatbots on Facebook Messenger. So it's growing pretty fast, and there have been progressions in NLP, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So it's quite possible that it will be a reality in coming years.
Okay. Now, do you think that um, because there's also the option of making it voice based, kind of like Siri and Cortana, and the upcoming Viv from Samsung.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to be something that's interesting to include in a chatbot, a chatbot functionality?
It can be interesting, but at this moment, using third-party application like Facebook Messenger, it's not possible, because Facebook Messenger does not allow voice like audios at this moment, and it does not recognize audios at this moment.
Okay.
So it can be interesting, but for that we need to have an own standalone app. So if you have own standalone app, then we can implement this functionality, and it would be quite interesting. But
Yeah.
the main problem here would be like people won't know what to ask. So first we need to get to a market where it's like really a necessity. Then there's a need that it can be implemented.
Okay. Oh, so you just said something very interesting there. People don't know what to ask.
Yeah,
um, so I think going back to the point about the UX thing is the reason you use menus or you use option based you know to present options to the user in this case. I think one of the reasons is that it's what you just said. At the beginning they know what the hell to task the damn bot.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's like it's not like even like Facebook's "What are you thinking?" thing. It's more like what do I do with this thing?
yeah. That's it.
um, what do you think is the? By the way, I mean, I hope that what you're saying, that in 3 years we might see something very smart. Uh, we all have our own Jarvis going around. Is a reality.
Yeah,
Um, Personally, I don't think it's gonna happen pretty quickly. um, I'm also working on this stuff, but I think the only reason why it would accelerate in terms of what I've been thinking about and speaking to people like you and other people around the world working on these type of things is that there's multiple the basically because they opened up the different platforms, everybody has access to it. uh,
yeah,
and there's a lot of sharing going around. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by that you jump on Medium and you don't see a chatbot related or AI related thing, post from somebody sharing their stuff. I mean, what do you think people are sharing so much? When it could be, it's not a case where this is a competitive advantage if I protect my
yeah.
know-how.
So the main thing I think that people are sharing their knowledge in the chatbot community is that it's just the beginning for the chatbots. So developers, like people around us, don't even know what chatbots is, and it's just a mission like to help people to know what chatbot exactly is. And in later years, when the chatbot and community gets mature, people can get into competitive environment, and then there will be real things like people won't share anything like the algorithms, the NLPs, the AI they are using, the machine learning algorithms. So there would come time then when people will not be sharing anything. But at this moment, people are sharing because it's really a beginning for chatbot community, and they are not more bots. So it's well and good that people are sharing their knowledge with each other, so they can build some really cool stuff.
Yeah. By the way, at the beginning I was gonna ask you when you were thinking about building the chatbot, did you get inspired by another chatbot similar to the one you built, or it came just popped out of your head?
No, it just popped out of my head and I built that. But after I built my chatbot, I found out that like after building my chatbot and after launching the MVP, I found there were some 20 clones of Tinkerbot itself.
Oh
So
wow.
it was, yeah, so it was pretty hard. Like, but then I had talks with every founder, and I had told them that it would be a copyright infringement issue if they would copy the stuff. But the main thing that I was seeing here that people are openly copying the menus, the logic that we are using Tinkerbot. So it's kind of risky to launch on Facebook Messenger platform because there are a lot of users.
Oh
But yeah,
wow.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And how did you? I mean, now I'm not surprised about that because the reasons why it's very easy to interact with the chatbot and just look at it basically, right?
Yeah.
Um, what was your reaction to the you know I mean, when 20 copies of your bot,
Yeah.
literally
Like,
copies.
yeah. I was like, what the heck was happening? Like, I just launched this feature yesterday, and this guy has this feature today in the morning. So the only thing I could do was just contact the founder and just tell him that it's literally it's morally wrong and ethically it's totally wrong. But then I had some talks, and we are trying to acquire some bots, and we are trying to use their content.
My God, man. What do you? All
It's
right.
it's
So
really fast-paced environment over here, so it's really fast to copy things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what do you? What? let's explore that a little bit. How do you protect yourself from that? Is there a way, or is just you're up to it? I mean, it's part of the game.
There's no way. At this moment, there's no way. Like this copyright can't protect you because copyright can protect your content. Copyright can
Yeah,
protect your logic or the menus. So there's no way at this moment. You just have to go out there, fight, and then get it done.
yeah. I mean, I was,
So
I was,
the main thing I'm doing right now to stop this issue is like we are just trying to merge with the other bots and use their contents because some of them have various content and they do have some interesting content. So I'm in talks with the founder and acquire their bots. So that would be pretty grateful at this moment.
okay, all right. I'm working with a company. I mean, I can't speak of it yet, but I will soon. Uh, where we're building an AI-based chatbot,
Okay.
but it's not educational related.
Okay.
It's for a very well-known brand across the world, and I was asked about it. What if we launch this and you know a competitor sees it and copies it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have to. The only way they will not copy it, because I mean, it's very easy to just look for it, jump on it, start going through the buttons and stuff, going through the interactions, figuring it out. And I said the only way it's difficult to copy is if we brand it. What does that mean? Is that in terms of personality, you give it your brand personality if you have one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, because other than that, everything's up for grabs. It's like a website. I mean, it's up for grabs.
Yeah.
um,
Anyone can copy that. It's not a big
yeah,
deal.
I mean, the other part is if you're using, a very specific or proprietary, natural language processor.
Okay.
But even that is a stretch because building one your own it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So what have you found? Just going on that question, what have you found in terms of the natural language processors that are out there? Either I know Facebook has one, Microsoft has one, I think Amazon has one, Google I think has
Yeah.
just launched one. I mean, have you even tried any of those? I mean, do you have any comparisons between them?
I have tried Wig.ai and it was pretty simpler to use as you just need to enter the commands you need to utilize and it's a little bit of coding over there. So it's pretty simpler to use NLP with Wig.ai and you can easily implement it with Facebook Messenger. I think Facebook acquired Wig.ai, so they're
Yeah.
easily configured with each other. And the natural language processor used by Microsoft, I think they are based on C sharp. So, but the main thing I found difficult about Microsoft was the UI, the
Hmm.
Azure bot platform UI, which was kind of difficult to use. Like as compared to Facebook Messenger platform, they have all the documents for like how to create your first chatbot. Like they have the template on GitHub, so it's pretty simpler to use with Facebook Messenger. But about Microsoft, I found it pretty hard. And the main thing about Microsoft was that there are a majority of bots which are only on Skype, created with Microsoft Bot Framework.
Only
But
work on.
yeah, like there are majority of bots created with Microsoft. They're only accessible on Skype. That's the problem over there.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
uh, I would think that they would find a way to integrate it with Cortana. um,
I think so, but as I read 2 days before that Windows is finally dead, so Cotton will be only accessible on Android and iOS. So I don't think that it will be any utilization for that because iOS has Siri, Android has Google Assistant. So who is going to use Cortana now? Like no one uses Cortana on Windows computers. It's pretty difficult stuff.
oh my
So it's
god.
dead thing now.
Hey, Apurva, what do you think are the main limitations of chatbots at this point, and how do you overcome them?
At this point, the main limitations I think are that chatbots cannot answer everything you ask them. There are some moments when even NLP gets confused, artificial intelligence gets confused. So there are some moments where chatbots cannot answer everything, and that moments the administrator has to take over the conversation and has to answer the questions. But then if you have so many users and every user is asking something that is not relevant to the bot, it's not possible for administrator or the creator to take control of every conversation individually and answer the questions. So that's what the main limitation is.
Okay. And how do you overcome it?
So as I found in Tinkerbot, like there are very rare cases to think about at this moment. So what I do is like individually communicate with the user, and I just show them like how to use and move around in the Tinkerbot, and the problem gets solved.
So so you're providing some sort of indicator as to what to do next.
Yeah,
Is
like
that
to the
it?
users who don't know how to use and who are confused in between, I provide some sort of indications.
Okay. All right. Uh, so what is next for Tinkerbot in the next month or the remaining of the year?
So by the end of this year, we would be adding some courses related to computer science. The main we are trying to do here is like teach computer science to every kid around here. So we would be adding some basics of computer science, like anyone with prior no technical knowledge can learn to code. We are using Java for that, and we would be soon adopting C. Later on, at the end of this year, we would be introducing SAT and TOEFL courses, so that students can create their own flashcards, and then they can prepare for their SAT and TOEFL exams. Also, we are planning to adopt tie up with some of the SAT and TOEFL institutions in India, so that we can create a partnership with them and try to generate some revenue by the end of this year. That's what for
Okay,
this year. Yeah.
that's good, man.
Yeah.
So I bet you're very excited of your project.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever, and because you were mentioning at the beginning in your intro that you've done things, previous, done some previous things.
Yeah.
Is this the most immediate success you ever had, or you had previous
Right.
success before?
I think this is the biggest success that I had with Tinkerbot, because all other apps were successful, but not to a level where Tinkerbot is at this moment. And Tinkerbot achieved it in a very short span of time. So Tinkerbot is kind of big success for me.
Okay. And by the way, I mean, if you can tell me, I mean, if not, it's kind of like a secret. When you launched, why do you think it reached so many people? Why was it become popular?
So the main thing I think over here is that I shared with it all my friends, all my WhatsApp groups, like with everyone. And the thing goes follow if the person who uses it earlier loves it. And then it got spread through WhatsApp groups, Facebook, and then it literally got spread to everyone. Then I was in some local news coverages. So that
Yeah, I
to
saw
help so that to help Tinkerbot to grow rapidly.
that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And how did school institutions, schools reach out to you directly?
Actually, I reached to some schools, but education institutions like the tutors, they reach to us.
Okay. Unbelievable. And man, so I don't want to take too much of your time. You know, if there's anything else that you want to share with me, my listeners, go ahead.
So I would just like to tell that this is kind of really exciting environment for chatbots and artificial intelligence. So if you want to develop something for that, go just get out and develop something. But I'd be more precisely interested in developing the education system, because the education system over here in US is also kind of broken, because I take numerous classes over in my university, and there are some classes which are interesting, but there are some classes which are not that interesting. But the scenario is completely different in India. Like there are classes which are completely of no use. So for me, it's kind of important to develop to kind of redefine the education system in India. So yeah, we are trying our best on doing that, and I think that we would be doing that in next 5 years.
Very good. Hey, listen, by the way, if you want to launch in Mexico, let me know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Because we need
of
we need
course.
to because I mean I'm also interested in education. That's one of the reasons why I invited you to the podcast. I have
Yeah.
a very um, I'm gonna say this disgust for with the education system. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, it could be better, and I think, like you said, I mean, it's broken, and
Yeah.
in Mexico, it's it's no, you know, we got to
Not
do
that
something.
good.
We got to do
Yeah.
something about it. So when you're ready to launch in Mexico, let me know.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure, of course.
it's for me, it's immediate because I have relationships with universities and also with schools. I've done work with them before.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I just wanted to put that out for you. And also,
Yeah.
if you want to, do an announcement, things of that nature for your Tinkerbot, let me know, and I'll help you with that too. Also, um,
Yeah, sure. Thank you so
um,
much. Yeah.
yeah, no problem, man. So, where can people find you?
So you can find me on Facebook. My username is Apurva Muthe. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. It's same username everywhere.
Okay, and how do people find Tinkerbot?
So for finding Tinkerbot, just open your Facebook Messenger and search for Tinkerbot, and yes, you're good to go.
Very good. All right, Apurva, thank you again. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your knowledge with me and your ideas. Hopefully we can do this again later on as you grow. Um, and
Yeah,
again, thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Yeah.
Bye.